Revolutionary War hero Major General the Marquis de Lafayette didn't take the Labor Day holiday off earlier this month. Oh, no, busy guy. He paid a visit to the Jason Russell House at 7 Jason Street to retrace his steps 200 years ago when Monsieur Lafayette toured the United States. In 1824, the esteemed general's visit included Boston, West Cambridge, now Arlington, Lexington and Concord, to honor America's fight for independence on Monday, September the 2nd of this year. It was a jam-packed Russell House as General Lafayette recounted his glorious triumphs in helping the 13 original colonies send a Dear John letter to the dreaded King George III. Take a look. How significant is it that Lafayette came here to visit on, I guess, the 50th anniversary of our independence?
Well, it was in the lead up to the 50th anniversary, and that was really part of the mission of his visit, was to generate interest and stimulate patriotism, because in the subsequent year and the year after would be the big celebrations. And he truly was a surviving hero of those years, a battlefield hero, and he was also a very much of a, not only a political hero, but philosophically. He worked with Jefferson when he returned to France on the Declaration of the Rights of Man. So he was very much involved in natural law, human rights, and so he was very moved by the cause in America. And even though he was a French nobleman, he was equally moved when the French Revolution came along and when he returned to his home country. So he really returned here a major hero.
Monsieur, you addressed me earlier as Marquis, and in truth, that is a title of nobility I have not claimed in some time. I vastly prefer the honorific General to honor the service that I rendered here in America under the command of General Washington.
The first place that historically he stopped was West Cambridge. And actually, in researching the tour and setting up all the events, that was always puzzled me, because we had this account that he stopped in West Cambridge, but I didn't know where the heck that was. And so finally I studied the map a little more, and I said, oh, that's Arlington.
The streets were lined. It was a small population. Arlington was a bit of a country town then, known as West Cambridge. But he arrived from Cambridge and came up from Belmont direction down Pleasant Street, and when he got to the center of town in front of the First Parish Church, there was a giant arch welcoming him that was erected above the roadway, and they claimed that the entire population was out there to greet him with loud huzzas, to use the language of the day. And then as he continued toward Lexington, on the hillsides, different members of the local militia were stationed to fire a salute to him until he got to the Lexington line to continue his journey from there.
Well, you had so much influence on us, especially in Yorktown. You were there for the surrender of Cornwallis. That had to be a point of pride in your life, and you took it back home with you just in time for the French Revolution.
Yes, indeed, Monsieur. The victory at Yorktown was the crowning achievement of the French-American alliance, the battle that I knew would secure the future of liberty on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean, or at least that is what I felt was the destiny of this conflict. It is true that I returned to France to keep the flame of liberty burning, shall we say, and this met with mixed results in France. In France, I believed the future of the country would be best served by a constitutional monarch, a hereditary monarch surrounded by republican institutions such as you find in America, an elected legislature, a written constitution, and an independent judiciary. However, for this, the monarchists thought me a radical, and the radicals thought me a monarchist, and I made very few friends on either side.
You know, Lexington and Concord gets all the press as far as the shot heard around the world and everything else. But the Battle of Menominee was very brutal, and more lives were lost here, and there were more casualties here than Lexington and Concord. How significant to you, fighting for our cause years ago, is the town of West Cambridge, which later became Arlington?
Any loss of life among the ranks of the Continental Army is, of course, an irreplaceable tragedy. These brave patriots, farmers, citizens taking up arms against one of the strongest armies in the world. I know that the battles of Lexington and Concord were perhaps not the bloodiest in the conflict, but certainly the ardor and the fire of the patriots of Massachusetts and the memories they carried of their fallen brothers here in West Cambridge, as you say, motivated many of them to greater victories.
One of the most poignant stories about Lafayette's visit through West Cambridge was that Lydia Russell Teal, who was a granddaughter of Jason Russell. She lived here with her family in this home. And when Lafayette passed by, she was about 7 months pregnant. And 7 weeks after his visit, almost to the day, she gave birth to a son whom she christened Albert Lafayette Teal.
That's pretty cool. Now, there's a tidbit of Arlington history that most people don't know, including those who live in
There you
Arlington.
go. Now's the occasion to get it back out there.
This event was sponsored by the Louise Ivers Education Fund and the American Friends of Lafayette.